Welcome, Capricorn. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back. You have a Capricorn moon. That's always interesting. Capricorn, trying to be practical. Virgo rising, Capricorn moon. So a bunch of earth stuff trying to happen in there. I don't know. It's interesting. Okay. So first, I want to light the candle. Light the light. Means really like inviting spirit to help us to deliver the clearest messages for the masses, for the sign of Capricorn, Capricorn sun, moon, rising. We ask it all be well with you. And light some incense. Move here a little bit. And as usual, if you like the reading, if you find it interesting, if you want more content like this, click like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. I do personal readings one-on-one via Zoom or FaceTime, whatever, or just on the phone, however. If you're in the area, I can do one-on-one in-person readings, that's fine too. Boston area. And there's a lot going on planetarily wise. Getting ready for Uranus and Jupiter conjunction like this weekend, I think. Venus is getting ready to go into, is it Venus? Venus is already in Aries. I don't know. I have to check. I'm not an astrologer. I do follow some astrology channels, so I know a little bit about things that are happening, but then, you know, sometimes I come on here, if I don't take notes, I forget and whatever. But I'm more open to what Spirit has to say. And so I do use cards and stuff, but the cards really just like open a window, right? And I just talk about what the cards tell me. I'm not about what the textbook definition is. I just want to say, I had this epiphany yesterday, the day before. And I just want to say, like, if you think that you're a weirdo somehow, or you know, a little off something, like, I just want to say, like, embrace it. Embrace your weirdness. Embrace your individuality. Embrace your idiosyncrasies. Like, you know, somebody like me being a witch, being an empath, you know, somebody that walks between the worlds, as they say, it's not necessarily an easy life, right? And you know, people look at us like we're a bit odd or awkward or whatever when we're talking about spirits or talking to spirits or saying that spirits are speaking to us, right? And you know, and then we just want to kind of fit into society, that kind of thing, right? And I'm just like, lately, I'm just like, you know, like, fuck that. I'm just embracing my individuality and just celebrate you, right? It's like, why do we want to go around attacking ourselves for our individuality, right? It's like, be the best you that you can be. You know what I mean? And I don't do crowds, and I don't drink, and I don't do a lot of stuff, and like, I'm good with that. You know what I mean? So just let's hang out for a little bit, Capricorn, shall we? Let's hang out and talk about what's happening in your world, right? So, like, Five of Cups is sitting down the bottom, right? That's a card that is about like loss, disappointment. It's also kind of about endings, right? So there can be a lot of different kind of endings that are happening for you, right? But what Spirit is saying is that if there are things that are ending in your life, relationships, Two of Cups, right? If there are these things that are ending, then it is something that is probably happening for the best, right? Because I do think that this is a time period where things are being cleared out. Like, I'm a Reiki master, and it's not like an ego-based thing. It just is what it is. And like, I've been having conversations with somebody, and there's been a lot of things that are kind of shaking loose, and in order to be cleared away, right? And so, if you're having these kind of experiences, right, then, like, let them go. Let the things go. Don't try to hold on to it. I mean, if it wasn't trying to end, then then it would probably still be okay. But if it is trying to end, it's because, like, things are no longer in alignment with whatever that situation is, whether it's a person, place, thing, whatever, right? Whether it's a job, whether it's a person, whether you have to move for some reason or another, right? It's like that thing is no longer serving you, and so now it's time to move on to whatever the next phase is, and be open to positive things trying to happen. Like, if you're sitting there being like, oh, like, this thing is like so bad, and it's this, that, the thing, right? Then that's what you're going to draw in. So it's more important. Like, you have your wish cards and down the bottom, what I was going to say. So the wish card is not so much about, oh, I have this wish, and so this is the thing that's going to manifest. The wish card is more about whatever energy you're putting out, that's what you're going to get, right? So if you're focusing on these negative things, and the negative things are happening, congratulations, right? And if you're focusing on positive things and positive things are happening, congratulations, right? That's the law of attraction. That's what that energy that you're putting out. That's the karma. That's the whatever word you want to put in there. So, do your best. And I'm not saying that you have to be, you know, happy, joyous, and free, unicorns, rainbows. That's not what I do here. um, I'm not saying that it has to be, unicorns, rainbows every day, right? But it's like, do your best. 4 agreements, do your best. Um, be impeccable with your word. Be like, being honest, being clear, right? Don't make assumptions, right? And I forget what the other things are, but I do know that it is about like doing your best. Yeah. So some days it's not easy. Try again tomorrow. All right. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising. What does Spirit have to say to you? Who is Jeremy? That's you, Capricorn, the Devil card. Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. So if this is what we're talking about here, Saturn is being connected to Mars right now, and Mars wants us to go, right? but Saturn is like, well, what are we doing long term, right? And Mars also like cuts things out of our lives too, which is kind of like what we're talking about. So if something is trying to be cut out of your life, it's because Saturn is sitting here saying, like, what are our long-term goals, Capricorn? Where are we trying to get to? And what is it that's holding us back? Right. And so whatever it is that's trying to leave your life right now, it's probably because on some level, there could be some manipulation happening. And even though you may not necessarily want to identify it as that, that could be what it is that's going on here. And so, you know, do your best to be able to move forward and kind of look to the future, right? And see where it is that you're going to. Because this is ruled by the sign of Gemini. There's also a card that is, it's a moving forward. It is a card, like I said, about things trying to move fast, right? And it is a card that some people call like it's safe passage over troubled water. So, it's very clear. It's very fast moving. It's swords. So it is about the mind, right? It's about having your mind be clear. Right? So, right. This is a completion of a cycle around your life, right? This is Alpha Omega, right? Omega is the end, Alpha is the beginning, right? These are the Fool card is the first major arcana, the World card is the last major arcana, right? So things are ending in order for you to start a new cycle around your life, right? And again, right, the Fool card does say to be open to all possibilities, right? And this is the Mars energy, right? So we do have the Saturn here, we have Mars energy over here, right? So it's like if you're open, then things will be able to move forward in a faster way, right? Part of the Knight of Wands card is like it's ruled by Aries. So it's like it can be a thing about like I want to be in charge. Be like because Mars is like where I always look at it like where am I putting my energy into, right? But it is a kind that can bring up aggravation. It's a kind that can bring up like sexual agendas, right? It can be things that are happening like that. So you do have the Hammond card there, right? So it is about like changing your perspective around things, right? It is a card about like delays, procrastination, things like that, right? We are still in Mercury retrograde right now, so there can be delays around things, right? But the delays are not necessarily a negative thing. The delays are there. Mercury retrograde is about redoing things, renegotiating things, anything to do with words. Whether it's writing, speaking, thinking, anything along those lines, right? But this is talking about if you do have these like aggravation things going on here, right? Then just kind of like change your perspective around the things that are happening here, right? Look at things as if it's happening like for you, not to you. So you do have the Ten of Swords here, which is I use it for like stress. It's called the Lord of Ruin, right? So I will also say this, right? The Devil card is a card that can be connected to drugs, addiction, things like that, right? It's a card that I use for self-imposed limitations, right? And so there is this thing here. The Ten of Swords is a card about like stress, mental, emotional stress made physical, right? And we do have the Temperance card here in this deck. It's called the Art card. It's a card about alchemy. So this is the card. This is telling me that if you have those things kind of happening around your life, right? Whatever the limitations and restrictions are, whatever the things that are causing you stress, right? Be patient with yourself, right? And also, this is a card about healing right? And major decisions here that have to be made because you're sitting here and you're being asked to raise your vibration, right? The Aeon card, the Judgment card, major decisions, but it's in the Aeon. So it is about, in a lot of ways, like kind of trying to raise the vibration in a lot of ways. So it does say here that things have an ability to go quicker. You have the World card there. World card is recognition, it's completion of a cycle, right? And it can be things that are happening in like other countries as well, right? If you're trying to the judgment, the justice card there, right? If you're trying to negotiate things with people in other countries, if you're trying to travel to other countries, things like that, especially if it's some sort of I don't want to call it like a rehab, but if it's like some sort of a getaway thing, a vacation where you're just like, I need a break, right? Like that kind of a thing, right? Because you're in this place of transition and there's a lot of like pressure going on here. You do have the 10 of Wands, which is burdens, problems, responsibilities, right? But you have the 10 of Wands over here, you have 10 of Swords over there, you have the World kind of there, right? There's a lot of things here that are talking about endings, right? But 10, even though it's an ending, it's a 1, right? 1-0 is 1, right? So this is a karmic thing that is in the process of happening here, right? So 10 of Swords, it's a card that it's it's an ending, but it's kind of like a blessing in disguise kind of a situation, right? And the 10 of Wands is Saturn in Saturn and Sagittarius. So it is about like moving forward and whatever, right? But it's like there's a lot of burdens on there. Saturn is about difficulties, right? But the 10 of Wands is a card that talks about this is a time of harvesting all of the work that you have put into doing the things that you've been doing, or all the stuff that you've been working on. This is time to harvest those things, which is why you're kind of in this place here about like transition, and another place here about completing the cycle around your life. Where you do have the Knight of Cups here, and you have the Moon card. So these two water-based cards. So it's very much about like trusting your instincts here, moving forward in a more emotional way, not so much of an aggression kind of a way. And Capricorn tends to be more like mentally oriented. They try to be more practical and stuff like that. Capricorn is about your standing in the community, right? And how is that looking on you, right? So Spirit is saying that is something that can be changing a career path, changing what it is that you're doing somehow, something like that, right? And so getting back to these cards over here, because the Devil card can be related to like drugs, alcohol, things like that, things that are holding you back, and you have these cards that are based in healing, then like, whatever the addiction is, right? Whether it is like drugs, whether it is alcohol, whether it is food, whether it is gambling, whether it is like people, codependence is also like an addiction, right? Whatever those things are, this is saying that if you're trying to move forward, then you may want to look into those things and try to clear those things up, right? Because this looks to me like with the 10 of Swords there, I usually see that mental, emotional health made mental, emotional stress made physical. When I see the Temperance card here in this deck, I start looking at people's. If I was doing a one-on-one reading, I would kind of like scan your energy, be looking at your health, things like that, and stuff like that. So you may want to be taking care of whatever it is that's happening in your body, right? Making sure about like do a wellness check on yourself, something like that, right? And be making some major decisions, because it's like you do have the Knight of Discs down here, right? Which is it is an earth sign. It is somebody who is looking to the future as far as their work is concerned, looking for brighter days like that, right? And so they're looking at the difficulties around things, but this is a period of adjustment, and this is one of the reasons why things might be difficult, because you might have to let go of things that you don't really want to let go of. But it's like, what am I going to do? Like, I really have to let go of this thing. It's really creating this weight on me. It's really creating this burden, right? Like the weight of the thing, right? That's Saturn. And so it's really telling you, like, is this really worth it? Is it really worth it for me to be carrying this thing around? And the answer is probably not, right? Because you are being asked here to clear your energy. You're being like, there's a weight on you right now. So it's like you're trying to raise your vibration. It's hard to raise your vibration if you're being weighted down by things that are not really serving you, right? And sometimes it can be people, right? And sometimes people are being like really needy, right? Like, oh, I need you to do this. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. I need you to do this, right? And it's like, well, like maybe you don't want to be doing those things anymore. Maybe those people are being psychic vampires, and it's just time to let those people go, right? Time to let them like fend for themselves, right? And it's just some people just want you to do the work, right? And I have had to let go of some people who, because I am psychic and things like that, it's like they want to use me for my ability and things like that. And it's like, you know what? Like, I can't be giving you this information. If you want to get a reading, that's one thing. If you want to, like if you're not meditating, then that's on you, right? Then, it's time to find your own guidance around things. So, you're being asked, Capricorn, to be able to move forward, to start a new cycle around your life, to put energy into like really like celebrating you. You do have the Three of Cups over here. This is kind of about celebration, right? And the Nine of Wands in this deck is the Sun in Sagittarius. It is kind of about strength. So it's like, you're being asked here to move forward in a more emotional way, because your emotions are coming more online. They're coming more to the forefront, right? And you're being asked here to put more energy into your own kind of like emotional well-being, right? And not to be a victim. The Hammer card is a card about victimhood, right? But it's like, because you're being a victim because you're being stuck, right? So this is about changing your perspective. It's like the guy is hanging upside down, right? But he put himself in that position. It's a kind of about Odin, and he hung himself upside down in the tree, and he discovered the runes, and he was able to see the world in a different way, right? He had a change in perspective, and so that's what this is asking you to do, right? And by doing that, there is a celebration. It's like you're discovering your own strength. Right? There's a lot of inward travel around here. You could very well be having more like dreams as well. You have the Moon card there, right, which is about your psychic ability, and because you do have the Ten of Wands there the um, with the Moon card, right? It's like you may be having difficulty with your emotions, right? Even though your emotions at this period are your strength, right? But you're in this place here about like healing, right? And so you may be psychically being aware of the difficulties, and maybe didn't want to face them, but now whatever the difficulties are, they're being put in your face, so you can face them, so that you can let things go, so that you can become more glorious in your own life. So that is what is happening with that. So let us see what is happening for you, Capricorn, over the course of the next like 3 months. Okay. Do you have your tea? Do you have your coffee? Do you have your water? What are you drinking today? Today we're having green tea with some cinnamon. And I think that there's some ashwagandha in there. That's a word. Okay, Capricorn. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. Capricorn, sun, moon, rising. What is happening over the course of the next 3 months for Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising? Show us, Spirit. Show us. Come on, Spirit. Capricorn needs a new pair of shoes. Talking about money, money, finances, real estate. The Wealth card, it talks about like what are you doing for a legacy, right? Are you trying to make your mark in the world? Those things haven't really happened for you. Spirit says that you're reaching a pinnacle in your life. So that's interesting. All right. That's so funny. Because that's what this is. You have the Hermit card, which is a 9. You have 9 pentacles on the bottom, which is also a 9. Right? The Hermit card, he's standing up at the top of the mountain, right? And it's a card that's ruled by a sign of Virgo. And so he has the wand in his hand, right? I've been talking about this a little bit lately, and that wands represent power, right? And so the Hermit card, he has that wand in his hand, right? So it is a card about entrepreneurial based things, right? And it is a card that it is a situation that could talk about like sexual prowessness, which is, whatever that's all about. But there's a book about relationship keys to the tarot, whatever, and it shows different cards with different wands and stuff like that, and what that means, and what they do, and whatever when these cards show up, right? But in this particular case, it will talk about you're at the pinnacle, right? It's like you've done a lot of climbing up this hill, and it's like, okay, now what are we doing here, right? And it's like he's sitting there with his little lantern, right? It's good. It's a star from the star card in there, right? And so it's like you're only able to move forward like step by step, right? But you've done a lot of work, and now it's like, okay, what are we doing? We have the 10 of Swords like twice here, right? And we have the Knight of Swords, which means that there's an ending, right? But there's a lot of stuff here that's trying to come in around you in order to create stability around your life, right? And you're sitting here and you're moving to this place here where you have an ability to be the King of Wands. And the King of Wands is a card that is, he's about charisma. He's ruled by Leo. And so, this is about it's a card about power, right? Another card here where he has that big wand. So, you don't need to be analyzing things. You need to be letting things go, because this is Hermit, right? Hermit is ruled by the sign of Virgo, and Hermit's sign says, like, I analyze, right? I think and think and think and think, ruled by Mercury, right? And then you have the 10 of Swords over there, which is, again, swords, the mind, right? And so it's like, think long, think wrong is what they say. So this is about walking away from things that no longer serve you, like we're talking about, right? It talks about walking in a new direction. We did just have this eclipse up here, right, recently. So that's where that card is like showing up around here. This is kind of about negotiations like we were talking about. And at the end, the Devil card sitting in the middle. Queen of Swords is ruled by the goddess Athena. So she's also about like strategies, tactics, things like that. She says to be clear about where it is that you want to go, right? you have the Empress card there, which is Venus. And Venus is sitting with Aries. So we have Capricorn, which is about your resources, right? And negotiation, relationships, limitations and restriction, difficulties here connected to people from the past, right? And somebody had a little bit of an attitude around here. And again, Justice card, you have the Justice card twice. So over the course of the next 3 months here, we are looking at the limitations or restrictions, but you're sitting here in the middle, right? And so you sitting in the middle of your own spread here over the course of the next 3 months means that it is about like you focusing on yourself, right? That there are a lot of things that are coming in here, right? And you're thinking about the past, you're thinking about your childhood, right? And kind of having a little bit of an attitude about things connected to the past, right? But you're also in this place about transition over here too, right? The Justice card, right? Which is about balance. It's justice, right? So it's like you're sitting here and you're weighing the pros and cons about things, right? And Venus, right, Empress, trying to beautify your life. Well, the Empress card could also bring up things connected to, are you looking to, we did have the Knight of Wands up there, right, around like, sexual energy up there, right? Now you have the Empress card here. Are you looking to have kids, right? The Hangman card, are you looking to have kids, but maybe it's time to wait right now, right? Or maybe the kid is trying to come, but it's like a little bit late, right? Maybe it'll show up after Mercury goes direct. So could be that, right? It's interesting because you do have the Empress card, then you have the Queen of Swords sitting beside it, right? So you could be looking at things that have to do with your mother. You may be looking at things that have to do with your grandmother, right? And like female energy in your life, whoever those people are, whether it's you as a mother, whether it's you looking at your mother, or your grandmother, or looking at your grandchildren, things like that, right? And because you do have this Six of Cups here, which is about the past. It is a kind of can be connected to children, things like that, right? And but you're sitting here, what it's telling me really is over the course of the next 3 months here, that you're sitting here and you're trying to negotiate things for really the Queen of Swords is telling you about grandmother, right? So to me, this says that you're sitting here, you're looking at things and connected to like your old age, right? Because Saturn does rule old age. It's like anything past like 50, I think it's 50 to 60, something like that. I forget what the time period is, but it's like it's older, right? So and if you are like 50, 60 and you're still kicking around, right, then it's still, it's still looking at whatever your old age is, right? It's a relative term, right? As I know is that what it's telling me here is that you're sitting here, you're negotiating things, and you're looking down your future, 5 years, 10 years down the road. You have a lot of tens around here, right? So maybe you're looking at 10 years down the road. But there is a lot of negotiation running around here, contracts, things like that. You have the Ten of Wands, you have the Three of Pentacles here. So that's a card that is a lot about it's a card that's about building things, right? It's a card about artistry, right? But it's also a card that I use it for like classes, training programs, life lessons, things like that, right? So you may want to be taking some sort of a class to get out of being in a rut, right? You have the Three of Pentacles there. You have the Empress. You do have a couple of threes running around here. You have the Six of Cups, which is also a three, right? 3 plus 3. You have the Nine, which is 3 times 3. And then you have the Hangman card up there, which is 4 times 3. So there are a lot of 3 type energies running around here. You have the Ten of Swords, which is a 36th card of the deck, right? Which comes down to a 9, right? So there's a lot of stuff here that is about completing things and negotiating about like, well, how am I getting out of this thing, right? Queen of Swords says that you just have to make a decision, right? You just have to make the decision that this is what you're going to have to do. And Page of Swords sitting there is like, well, you might have a little bit of an attitude about it, but like it's going to behoove you, right? It's going to be in your best interest to make the decisions that are about like clearing crap away, right? Whether it is, even if you're like a CEO of a company, right? You're head of a company or you're in charge, right? And maybe you're trying to stay there because 401k, et cetera, but it's really not working for you, right? And it's like, well, maybe you have to leave. Just maybe this is a time where you're looking into entrepreneurial type things like having your own business instead of working for other people, right? Because it feels to me like you've been in a place for a long time and like it's just really not working out, right? Even if you've only been there for like 4 months, 4 years, something like that, right? And it still feels like it's a long time, right? With the Ten of Swords there, it's saying that you want to look and see how your job, whatever your situation is, right? How is it affecting your health, right? And how is like staying there longer going to adversely affect your health, right? And can you really wait that long, right? Because if you're having like health issues here, right, and then you have the Three of Pentacles there, right, like negotiating with people. The Devil card says it's like it's all about like the limitations and restrictions. So it's like you could very well be negotiating things, but you're not really going to get what it is that you're looking here for. You're not going to get what you're looking for here. So, it really feels to me like, for the most part, it's time to do something different, right? Maybe for a few of you, um, you can like stay where you're at. Maybe you did just move, something like that, right? And so good for you. We're doing all that, right? But like over the course of the next 3 months, it's like it feels to me like you've been in this battle for like 9 months, and nine is a completion of a cycle. So it feels to me like you've been in this battle here like 9 months, and it's really being time to go. So say goodbye. And there's a whole thing going on these days about like not giving 2 weeks notice. So I don't think you necessarily have to do that, especially if you're not going back. Who cares, right? And I've been watching a lot of videos about, well, not a lot of videos about it, but I've seen a few different videos where people fire you. They don't give you 2 weeks notice, but they want you to give a 2 weeks notice. Right? That's them, so they can take time and find a replacement for you, stuff like that. But you know, you don't have to negotiate. Is the point, right? You don't have to negotiate about like this is about following your gut, following your instincts, right? Your emotions are leading the way right now because your head is getting you into a lot of trouble, right? Because your head is telling you, well, like, what I gotta do this, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do this, right? It's like, well, do you really? Do you really? You're moving into the place here about balance. You're moving into this place here about fertility, about like being in charge of things, right? Moving into places where you're being happy, right? Moving into places where, whether you're looking at a new home around here, whether the new home, like Devil card connected to that, right? Um, like relationships, limitations, and restrictions because of home. Maybe you have a long distance relationship, right? So does that mean that you're going to move over there or they're going to move to you? Right, but you're in this place here about like negotiating all about like the limitations and restrictions rather than making a decision, being clear about what it is that you want and how you're going to be in this place here about Venus, about your creativity, right? And So that's what that's telling me is like, you know, and because this is stuff that is happening here over the course of the next 3 months, it may take you like the next like 2 months to figure it out, right? And I don't necessarily think that it has to take that long, but that's what this feels like. Feels like it's like you're taking your time trying to like sort it out and whatever. And it looks very painful, right? But it's because you're a Capricorn. And it's because you're sitting here, you're trying to be practical about things, right? But your emotions are not trying to be practical. Your emotions are trying to be about like, we're trying to be happy here. We're just trying to put ourselves in a position where we know that we need to be, right? It's not about knowing where you need to be mentally, it's about knowing where you need to be emotionally. So I would tell you to like pay attention to your instincts right now. Pay attention to your gut. Pay attention to where your happiness is, right? Because if you're paying attention to where your happiness is, this doesn't have to take 3 months. It doesn't have to take 2 months. You could be doing this by the time we get to the beginning of May. So you just have to make the decision. The Queen of Swords says be clear about what it is that you want. Queen of Swords is ruled by Athena, so she is about strategies, right? But she's about getting rid of like old ideas. So she's another card that is about like getting rid of things that no longer serve you. So that's what that is going to be about right now. So let's see what it is that's happening for you and see if things move better over the course of the next year. Right? Again, we have Knight of Cups down the bottom of the deck, right? Moving forward emotionally. Capricorn. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Show us, Spirit. Show us. What does Capricorn and Five of Cups down the bottom of the deck endings? Five of Cups is also the card that I use about people that die. So it could very well be a lot of people who are around you who are passed over who are trying to help you to be getting unstuck. You could very well be having a lot of dreams, right? I think that the moon card was down there before, and the moon card is about your subconscious. It is about dream time, right? And so you may very well be having dreams about your difficulties, right? And so your difficulties are being spelled out. Your difficulties are being like shown to you in your dream time, and you're being shown a way out. So show us what we need to know. Show us what Capricorn needs to know. Hey. Oh, God. The place that I used to work, when I first started this like 30 years ago, they used to say, what falls to the floor comes knocking at the door. So the Pentacles, changing your situation. That's funny. Seven of Pentacles is also a card that's ruled by Saturn. So it's a card that says like fear of failure. So he's sitting here and he's looking at, I was going to say he's looking at his tarot deck. He's sitting here, he's looking at his pentacles and we're like, you know, how can I make this grow faster? What am I doing? What am I doing? Right. And in the thoughts deck, bottom of that deck is a death card. So doors closed and new doors opening. Right. The bottom of the rider deck is the Nine of Pentacles, which is it is about financial independence, actually. So it's this woman here, and she's living in her garden, right? She's living in her dream and living in the lap of luxury, basically, and being in control of her pentacles. So there's that. So you have this card here, the fear of failure, right? Which really is was ruled by Saturn. So that's all about the structure of things. So it's asking you to be looking at how you can change your structure, right? You have the Page of Pentacles here. There's communication about money and finances, right? So and you have the Page of Swords over here, and you have the Queen of Wands, and you have the Justice. So there could very well be people who you're communicating with connected to your past, right? Which is, you could very well be communicating here about like legal things as well, right? Whether it is about like, stock options, whatever that's all about. Whether you're looking at like negotiations here, like legal things about like your 401k and how you're going to be able to build that up long term, how you're going to be able to be in charge when you retire, right? How you're going to be able to afford your house, right? By way of investments and things like that. You do have the Page of Pentacles here, which is about talking and communication about money, finances, things like that. Page of Pentacles is a card that is about like if you're going to school, right? Then it can bring up like school education. Again, we have like the Three of Pentacles down there, which is also a card about education, right? But the Page of Pentacles is a card that is like education. It's kind of about business opportunities being presented to you. If it is a card about, if you do have questions here about if you should be going to school, this card would talk about the diplomas already in your hand, right? So sitting here weighing back and forth about your money and also your emotions. So again, there's an ending sitting there, but whatever the ending is, it's a positive because you do have victory over here. Five of Wands, sorting things out, right? There's a lot of chaos that sits here with the Five of Wands, and you have the Six of Swords here. All the balloons. The Six of Swords is a card that shows you moving forward. It shows moving muddy emotions behind you, right? It's a lot about like leaving a bunch of things behind you and moving to calmer shores, right? You can see the water down there, right? That's the muddy emotions, and then moving to calmer shores, right? It's like you do have help here, right? You're sitting here in this boat, and you have this person here and helping you, right? And another person with their wand, right? So there is help here, powerful people around you, whether they are alive, whether they are in spirit, and they are sitting here and trying to help you, right? In the middle here, you have Five of Pentacles, which again is like, it's like worry. It's worry about money, finances, and stuff like that, right? Which is not necessarily, it's not necessarily a negative thing, because the Five of Pentacles is a card, even rich people worry about their money, right? But this is somebody who's moving in a different direction. Five is a number of change, right? These people are not staying put, right? So it is a card that says worry about money and finances, right? But they're not staying here. They're not staying in this place, right? There's a church in the background, so that implies a help, right? But these people are not staying put. They're moving, right? So five is a number of change, right? Five of Cups up here, number of change, right? Three of Cups here, celebration, right? Six of Cups is a card that is connected to pleasure, right? So in a lot of ways, you are sitting here and you are looking for pleasure somehow or another, right? And with the Six of Cups here being about something that is connected to the past, it could very well be that there is something, because you do have the Judgment card here, right? Which the Aeon card was there. Aeon card is the Judgment. So it could very well be that you have had some idea of some situation from your past that maybe didn't work out, right? Like then. And maybe it's coming up around you now because the circumstances have changed, because your structure has changed. So now maybe whatever it is that didn't work out before is coming around you again, because you do have the judgment card, and the judgment card is a second opportunity for something, right? So whatever it is, you are being called into action because you do have the judgment card there, right? This is about the people coming up out of the coffins, right? And in the coffin is the old life, out of the coffin is a new life. You have Gabriel here, Gabriel with the horn. And so you're being called into action somehow or other. You don't have to worry about it because it is going to be a new emotional adventure around you. There is going to be celebration around here. You are going to have to say goodbye to some people, right? And it may not necessarily be nice, right? But this is about tactics, right? And the Seven of Swords is a kind of about lying, cheating, stealing, right? But you are going to have to make decisions about people who have been stealing your time, right? People who have been stealing your health. This is the wounded warrior, right? And it's like you're moving forward here. Another guy here holding on to this wand, 8 wands in the back, right? And he's not going backwards. 9 is completion of the cycle, right? You are moving into a place here about pleasure. There is victory around here. Over the course of the next year, Capricorn, there is going to be a lot of you, I would say a good like 30% of you that are probably going to be moving, having your own home. Some of you are probably going to be in a condo, maybe 25%. It feels like being in a condo type situation. It feels like 19% being in a different country. I don't know why Spirit is telling me about percentages. That has never happened. It's never happened before. So weird. But you are sorting things out here so that you can be in charge. You have the Emperor card here, right? This is a card here that is about banks, but it's about you being in charge, right? Banks, institutions, things like that, right? Sorting things out around your life in terms of these people, trying to juggle things, trying to balance things so you can move forward, so you can go to school, right? So that you can be happy, so you can start a new thing like being youthful, right? Instead of focusing on death, right? But you have victory around here. So over the course of next year, Capricorn, does feel like you're moving in a really good direction, right? And it does feel to me like you've been like stuck for the past year and you're getting unstuck, right? Good for you, Capricorn. Good for you. That's like really exciting because maybe in Capricorn moon, it speaks a lot for me. It tells me a lot for me. So tells me over the course of the next month that there is going to be, and I think it's really even over the course of the next like 3 months. I mean, the next like 3 weeks even. So, Mercury is getting ready to go direct, right? And so it could even be by the end of this year, things may have been stuck because of the retrograde, and maybe when Mercury goes direct, your life will be able to start moving forward as well. So maybe that's what you're sorting things out, right? Because the Mercury retrograde is about, like I said, like redoing things, redoing contracts, redoing whatever kind of agreements, redoing whatever, right? It is a time period about, being careful about dotting your I, crossing your T's, things like that, right? Um, you know, renegotiating travel plans, anything to do with electricity, anything to do with communication, right? So there can be things being redone, renegotiated, all those kinds of things, right? But um, it's not sitting there forever. So anyway, good luck with all of that, right? See, you're worrying for nothing. Be open to all possibilities. You have the Fool card there in the middle, just clarifying that card as they say, right? It says you're starting a new cycle, be open to all possibilities, right? Trust your emotions, you're gonna be fine, right? The moon card again, like your emotions, things that are hidden, but more will be revealed. So you're moving in a really good direction. Things are just being like a little bit like crappy over the course of 9 months, over the past 9 months, but I think by the time we get to July, you're going to be in a really better situation. So good luck around all of that. So ciao, have fun, bright blessings on your soul. Again, if you like what you heard, click like, share, subscribe, right? Leave me a comment, right? Hopefully it's a good comment, right? Tell me what you like about it. Make an effort. Tell me what you like about it. Okay? Thanks. Ciao.